Ready? Let's hear it for Dropbox.
All right, thank you. I'm Drew, and this is Arash, and we're going to be showing you a quick tour of Dropbox. All right, it's 2008. It is still such a pain to do even the most basic things, like work across multiple computers, or share files across a team, or put photos and video up on the web. When we think about the future, it's kind of hard to imagine Tom Cruise having to carry around a USB drive or having to log into Gmail to send himself a file or an email attachment. In 5 years, this problem's going to be solved. You'll sit down at any computer or use any mobile device, and your stuff will just be in front of you. And while dozens of companies have tried to solve this problem, the one that's going to make it a reality is the one that makes it so easy to use that anyone can figure it out. So let's dive in. Okay, so back at the office, we created an account for TC50, a Dropbox account, and we put a bunch of files in. And now we want to get to those files up here. So all we have to do to get started is type in our email address and password. And once our account is linked, you'll notice that in a second, all the files will begin downloading. And there you go. So you can see things are starting to happen. What we're looking at is our Dropbox folder, and it looks and acts like any other folder, except everything we put in there is kept in sync across our computers, and a copy is kept in the cloud. Okay? So you'll notice there's no complicated interface to learn or a program. Everything's completely in the background. Dropbox is deeply integrated with the Finder, and you'll notice these green check marks indicating that files are up to date. Now, I also have a computer over here, which is linked up to the same Dropbox account. So what I see in my Dropbox folder is the same thing as we see up there. So let's share a file between these two computers. So everything with Dropbox is drag and drop. So as soon as Arash drags in a file off of his desktop, so ashton.jpg, I immediately get a notification up here. And I know you can't see it back there, but I have Photoshop running here. And when I hit save and make a small change, that change will sync up immediately, or what I hope is immediate. Anyway, while we're waiting for that to come down, I just hit save on that file, and let me try. Well, the point is, we can make a change from any of these computers, we'll move on. Okay. What's the next thing? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. So what's our folders? All right. Sorry about that. Sorry. Yep. So we can make a change from any of our computers, and everything just works. Okay. So, all right. So Dropbox is a good way for keeping things in sync across your own computers. But we're a startup. We've got 10 people in the company. And we're on Windows, we're on Linux, we're on Mac. We're all over the place. So what we do is we use Dropbox shared folders to stay on the same page. So if we go to the web interface, you'll notice that we have this invitation to a folder called Company Shared Folder. So in there, when we can accept it, and in there are all of our Photoshop mockups, all of our code, legal documents, anything we need. And so once we've joined, everything's going to start pulling down, and there it is. And anyone on the team can change a file in here, and it just synchronizes immediately. So you can think of this kind of like Google Docs, except you don't have to change the way you work. You can use Office, you can use Photoshop, you can use all of your favorite applications. You can even be online or offline, so if the Wi-Fi cuts out, when you reconnect, everything syncs up properly. Okay. So so we can see how Dropbox is good for private sharing, but often what you want to do is put stuff online. And so there's a lot we do around this, but as one example, say you were just on TV, and you took a bunch of pictures, and now you want to make them available to your friends. Dropbox makes this absolutely painless. So all you have to do is take a folder full of files and put them in your Dropbox photo gallery, and Dropbox will automatically create a web viewable gallery and give you a link that you can then drop in an email or an IM, and it does what you'd expect. So I think that's a quick tour of Dropbox. If we want, we can review the. Well, we'll just move on. Before we leave you, we want to make a couple quick announcements. So we'll jump back in. So we've been in private beta for a while, and we've gotten a lot of great feature requests. And in our forum, we've had over 1,000 requests for a Linux client, and we're happy to announce that today Linux support is going live, and we'll have a Linux client available for you to download. Okay? Next, often you need to get to your files on the go. It's ridiculous that you can get to an email you sent 2 years ago from your phone or book a flight, but you can't get to the document you were working on 5 minutes ago, so we have an iPhone-optimized interface. That also goes live today. Yep. And we've also had tremendous demand for Dropbox. Nearly 200,000 people have signed up on our waiting list to try Dropbox, and we're happy to announce that tonight, for the first time, Dropbox will be publicly available, so all of you can log on and give it a shot. And okay. And not only that, but our most common feature request has been for more storage. And next week, we'll be making that available for either $10 a month or $100 a year, roughly, for 50 gigabytes of storage. But lastly, if you don't want to pay for it, the first 500 people to visit this link up there, getdropbox.com/beta/TC50, and who enter in the code TC50, will get a premium account for free once we launch them.
Come on, special exception for judges?
We can hook you
up.
We
don't have our laptops out.
Yep. But anyway, so the most important thing that we want you to take away from this is that Dropbox doesn't change the way you work, and just the speed and ease of use that we offer. And please visit us at www.getdropbox.com. Thank you.
Well done, well done. Let's hear it for Dropbox. And 500 people are racing right now and crashing your servers. Have a seat, guys. The two of you can sit. Don't worry. Guys, have a seat. Okay, great. Okay, questions from the panel about Dropbox?
So my biggest question is, why isn't this just a feature of somebody else's system? You know, whether it's Google or Microsoft or, you know, at the end of the day.
I mean, that's a good question. But, you know, all of them have been working on something like this as far as we've been made aware. But it's a very difficult problem, and I mean, these projects that they've had internally have been in progress for years. And, you know, we've taken a small team and in about 18 months have rolled something out that works. And also, there's a bunch of political agendas that these companies need to sort of, that they have internally, so that, you know, Microsoft is going to be a little bit slower to release a Mac client. Google might not want to release a tool that makes it really easy to release native Office documents across a team. And they have all these integration things, so they need to make, you know, Google Docs needs to work with whatever storage offering they provide.
Microsoft has a product called Folder Share, which is pretty good. How does how do you view that?
So this is kind of like Folder Share, except you also have a copy in the cloud, and the clients for Windows and Mac work a lot more seamlessly. And so what we add in addition to Folder Share is also the web interface and the ability to share files among teams or in groups of people.
Go ahead, Josh.
No, I like the user interface, and you know, tough recovery from it was a good recovery from a tough Wi-Fi tough Wi-Fi bug.
Yep.
Question: how do you deal with in a work group environment multiple people editing the same document at the same time?
Sure. So, yeah, you might encounter that on a flight or whatever. So Dropbox will detect conflicts automatically, and if you've edited a file and then someone else has edited that before you, it'll detect that your change is conflicting, and it'll spin out a local copy automatically.
Then you're left with having to resolve the differences.
That's right. Right now, you're left to having to resolve the differences just because you know, it's difficult to add, or there's no one merging algorithm that works best for everybody or for every kind of file.
So how more can you use that technology to kind of detect changes into what kind of other products you can build it into?
Well, that's a good question. So, I mean, our first focus is files, but our lives are fragmented around our files and our email contact sync. Eventually, we'll want to build in this kind of sync functionality into any application that you use.
But that then makes you competitive with many services out there. SugarSync is one, for instance.
Yeah.
To some extent, SugarSync is one, and you have Apple. You can use iDisk also to some extent for that, and they're also building something interesting around that concept. So how do you stay competitive?
Well, we're focusing first on files, and we do the best job with files, and we're the only one that's like completely cross-platform, for example, and mobile. And what we're trying to do is build the simplest and most seamless user experience around files, and then once there's proven demand, we can move into other arenas like syncing your email or contacts or things like that.
And do you think the $9.99, $95 a month, or $100 a year is enough to make revenues and be a company?
Yeah, I mean, we've again the most common request we've gotten in the forums is for people requesting more storage, and there's like, okay, I'll pay.
So you what's your default amount of storage?
So the free account is 2 gigabytes, and there will always be a free account, and that will be available tonight for everybody.
Awesome. Great job. Let's hear it for Dropbox.
All right.
Well done.